made any progress on the eyeball?
Yes, I actually have found the optic nerve right here. It's hard to see right now, but this is the optic nerve.
What's that black thing sticking out the back?
Where?
Right here. What is that?
Oh, that's just part of the lens. And so the optic nerve, it basically, when the eye was gotten, it was cut off. The optic nerve obviously connects it. The nerve is connected to the brain, and that's how the cow sees. And it was obviously disconnected when the eye was harvested.
Can you point out the optic nerve?
Sure. It's right here.
Thank you.
This looks like it's impressive.
Okay.
What's happening
So
over
here we are locating the crop or the stomach, and we see a hard shell-like, which would most likely be the crop, maybe, because it needs to hold a lot of food before it is digested into the stomach. So it needs to hold the food while, like, letting the food go into the intestines to get digested for its nutrients.
And birds, like dinosaurs and other, they're related to them. They have a common evolutionary. They have a common animal and evolutionary history together. Luca, last universal common ancestor. We all have one, but birds share common ancestor with dinosaurs. If you look at this part of this digestive system, they swallow rocks, little rocks that help grind up the food. So the crop and the gizzard, work in conjunction, and then it gets then transferred to the stomach and then a small and large intestine. So this is quite a look at that structure. You can't even break it. It is so strong. I mean, that is an impressive evolutionary adaptation and functional organ to really break down anything they're eating. Little stones in there grinding away and then allowing for that really pre-digested.
I also see that you have found the intestines.
Yes, absolutely. And if you think about that, when you chew your food, you break it down into smaller pieces, right?
Yeah.
So now if the crop and the gizzard break it down, but with little rocks and muscles and crunch it and break it down, it's almost this sludge. And the microvilli in the small and large intestine in the stomach, after they digest it further, the villi help absorb even more of those nutrients. So you're getting a bigger bang for your buck. You're using the nutrients you're digesting in a more efficient manner.
Yep.
Pretty amazing.
Mr. Marco, as you can see, those are like, would you say this is some, I don't know if you can see that, like clearly all this sludge, it's like little dots, as you can see. Mm-hmm. Can you?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know what they are, and they could be eggs, I don't know.
There's little white spots in the middle.
Right there.
Let's see.
Right there.
I think that's some muscle tissue or some. Yeah, no, that's definitely. They do look like little eggs. Look at that, but I think that's some sort of muscle tissue or interstitial tissue.
You located the reproductive / urinary organs?
We know it's there, but
of course you know it's there.
So we're gonna have to.
Yeah, we didn't cut into it that yet.
And you had a question. What was your question?
Is it like more or less complex than the frog?
So why don't you discuss that? Is this pigeon more or less complex than the frog? Talk about systems. Is it circulatory system closed? Is the digestion system closed? What do you think?
See, you're extracting the
eggs
eggs
from
right now.
the fish, and then the reason there are so many eggs in an actual frog is because most of them do not survive during the process of when they hatch. So the frog lays like hundreds of eggs, and we have an example in the classroom when we were hatching frog eggs. Only one out of the few hundred survived, and that is why frogs have so many eggs.
Hello. So we've removed the digestive tract, and for the curious of science and math, we're going to use math and scale factor to see how is our intestines related to the bird's intestines.
How large they are.
How
So
large
you see,
they
the
are.
bird is about
about the
13
size-
inches long.
12.
12, 13 inches long.
And the digestive
Clearly-
tract has already almost, is the same and may double.
And they still have more intestine to go.
So it might be true that the digestive tract is 2 times the size of the bird itself.
Well, good luck with that. How are you doing on the eye? I see you squirted a lot more juices
Yes, so
out
this
of
black liquid is basically eye fluid. We also have this. I'm not exactly sure what color it would be in our eyes, but I'm sure it's similar. And basically, this is the eye of a cow is a compound eye, whereas a fly or a mosquito, they have a different eye, which is called a no. This is a simple eye. This is the flies and mosquitoes have compound eyes, which has basically, it looks like a beehive. They have many different hexagons, and so the compound eye basically allows it to see 360 degrees around it, and the cow has only simple. And I've been able to make an incision in it, so I should be getting the lens in the corner.
Definitely an opening for either. Look at that. That's the cloaca. That's clearly cloaca, right?
Down to cloaca.
So again, the cloaca, instead of, it's very, it's anus, and right after the anus you have the cloaca, which is, if you look in here, you can zoom in, you just turn around to get the diagram here, right? The cloaca contains, it's very similar to the anus sometimes, they're confused with it, but after the cloaca, sometimes there's internal sex organs in reptiles and birds. So here we have a clear illustration of the cloaca. The question is what is this in humans? See if you can. Hard to tell. Keep on looking.
So I made a mistake with that female before.
So now you think it might be your nail?
It's impressive. So go ahead, Champ. Tell us what we're looking at here.
So at the top, we're looking at the head of the bird, and the beak, and the crop. So the crop leads out into these tubes, which is around 2 times the size as the bird. So if this relates to us, it would be, say if you're 5 foot, you would have a digestive tract of around 10 feet. If you use
if it's proportional to the bird,
Yes.
correct. So let's take a look at this. Why would it make sense? Why does this bird just not have one esophagus, digestive tract, crop, gizzard, stomach, straight out into the rectum and the anus, one straight digestive tract? Why is it not straight?
it's not straight.
Why is it coiled?
Because if you coil something up, you can have a bigger object in a smaller space.
And so why is it important to have a bigger object in a smaller space? Well, how does that aid in the process
it
of
will
digestion?
get more nutrients out of the food, and it will also digest it better.
How? Why?
Because the intestines will digest it and it will be longer, so a bigger path of digestion and more opportunities to take the nutrients out.
Because it has a higher what?
Wow, this frog really has a lot of eggs.
Yep.
You were right.
And then I'm starting to reach some more tubes, and it proves that frogs have a closed circulatory system.
Why is that?
And when it's a closed circulatory system, that means all the blood and fluids of the body travel through tubes. And in an open circulatory system, there are no tube system.
Ooh.
Okay, so we've opened up the bird completely. So we just have a couple muscles up here, and now we're gonna go into the dissection of the head and neck. And in the neck, we can reveal the backbone. And yeah.
So I made 2 incisions across from each other. And basically I've opened the eye up. and this is what inside. I still have to cut it more.
So
So
that's
I
where
can-
all the black fluid was coming from inside
Yes,
the actual
yes.
eye itself.
Yes.
How are you guys
Do
projecting?
you have a breast?
So we were about to move on to cut off, like to go flip it over to see the brain. But then as I was flipping it over, my eye, because to my good
You
eyesight,
see the lungs.
yeah, I spotted the lungs. I forgot about the lungs, but here they are.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Here, hold one.
Stunning.